Welcome to Laser Brain's review of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This is the fun one. We've waited a long time to get to the second one, but here we are. We're having a good time. This is Michael. I'm joined by Meteor co-owner Champ Ian.
That's me, and I just had a great time watching the Temple of Doom.
Sweet.
It's a feel-good movie. Just grabs you by the heart and doesn't let go.
I know, it's a feel-good movie.
Spoiler alert.
Whips you on the back. All right. We're also joined by Ryan, who has no superhero cool name, do you?
We're going to go with RH Factor. It's a nickname given to me by somebody, so RH Factor.
RH Factor. Okay, okay.
I was going to say
Is that
right
like,
there,
is that like
RH
pH
Factor.
level? No connection?
Scientifically, it's the positive
Strong enough
negative
for a
thing
man?
attached to your blood type, ironically. But
Okay.
it's one of my old boss friends gave back.
Okay.
But yeah, Temple of Doom.
Awesome. Laurasaurus.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Publisher of
Oh, yes, Analog.
Analog.
Yes,
There you go. We'll
yes.
plug you. Yep.
Thank you for having me. I watched a movie tonight.
Yes, you did. Yeah, it's unusual for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and we're joined by the main man over here, TJ.
I'm not a main man. I don't have a nickname. I'm just TJ. I just am. And to quote a friend of mine, if I didn't exist, someone would have to make me so I could exist at some point.
Okay. All right, so here's the thing.
It's philosophical.
Yeah. So Indiana Jones trilogy, saw it as a kid, then skipped a couple years, bought it on VHS, like when it was re-released, watched it again and again and again, then didn't see it for a long time, watched it on Blu-ray, then watched it maybe in the theater, and I tell you something, I didn't realize how good this movie was till I rewatched it tonight. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I actually think there are some things in this movie that are higher than the highest action points of the first one. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Yes, which we'll talk about. Champion, what's your first impression of rewatching it tonight?
Well, this is maybe my second time seeing this movie ever.
What?
What?
Yep.
It's the second time in 2026 that I saw this movie.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, second time ever. It's one of those movies that I think traumatized me as a kid a little bit, right? Because I remember many of the story beats. I remember many of the special effects.
Sure.
And I remember being horrified by some of these things and just never watching the movie again.
Interesting.
And it's one of those movies that, like, why did my parents sit me down in front of the TV and let me watch this unattended when I'm 6 years old? No, it's probably not the best babysitting practice.
Yes.
As an adult, I can see how this movie scarred me, but I can also see it's very different than the other two, but in ways that it's not that I don't like it. It's just, I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. It's a good movie.
There's one way of looking at it that's better, but We'll wait here. First, we got to hear from Ryan.
I was going to say it's different, but in the best ways. This movie is nostalgia fest. It's just so delicious. I love this movie.
Do you drink this movie down?
I do.
Sucks it down like monkey brains.
I eat it up for like 6 rounds, just a 6-course meal, and for dessert, and I drink gallons of it. It's fantastic. It's cheesy. It really is just like nostalgia Hollywood 80s. Just Spielberg, Lucas, John Williams, short round, monkey brains.
I agree.
Everything.
That's the way to say it.
Oh
Okay,
no,
Laura.
and I'm the contrarian.
That's okay.
So I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with this movie because I remember seeing it when I was younger and feeling like, oh gosh, this is like the intense, like kind of scary one. And then I watched it, you know, when I bought the DVD set many, many years ago and going, you know, it's not as bad as I remember it. And then tonight I was like, wow, I do not like this movie.
Child slavery?
That is a fair statement.
Okay.
However, wow, we'll get into it in a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
TJ, what's your analysis?
Hold on, let me just add one thing. I just want to say, like, I think the reason that it didn't strike me this time is that I tried to watch it from the idea that, like, you know, so much of this was inspired from George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, loving these sort of like action adventure movies when they were kids. And it sort of became this sort of hybrid of a kids movie that has cartoonish action and also child torture.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. There's some
Yeah.
weird things I
Yeah.
didn't notice the first.
The
20
tonal
million
shift is
times.
pretty jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, TJ.
Put my leg up for this.
My reaction to seeing it tonight, amazing. Love this movie. Out of the 3 OG Indiana Jones movies, this is my number 1.
Blasphemy.
No, it is blasphemy to a lot of people, and I will agree with them. It's just that my timeline of seeing the Indiana Jones movies is much like Star Wars, is kind of off kilter, not in
That
order.
doesn't surprise me.
So technically, Last Crusade, I saw the opening scene for it at the drive-in when I was like 4 and fell asleep and did not see the rest of the movie.
Okay.
And so my first interaction with this movie was on Channel 50 out of Detroit when they were showing it on like Saturday afternoons.
Sure.
And so I would always
WKBD.
see it in bits and pieces. If I was lucky enough, I'd see it from close to the beginning. And it was always bits and pieces throughout. Well, I'd say between 91-ish to 96, it was bits and pieces. I don't think I fully saw it to the full effect when it was on satellite with DirecTV back in the day. But no, I love this movie. It still stands up as my favorite of the 3.
When I was a kid, I watched this one far more than Raiders. I always thought Raiders was the boring one, and this was the entertaining one. Okay. And then when I got older, I thought, you kind of you're influenced by what everyone else thinks, and you think, obviously Temple of Doom is the weak one. But then when I rewatched it during the lockdown, like 6 years ago, I was blown away by how non-stop the action is. Like opening scene of the shoot 'em up, and then they're in the plane, then they fall, then they're in the river, and then they're or then they go down the mountain and the river, and then there's a few questionable scenes after that. But then once skip an hour, and then when you no, not
an hour. No.
not that long, but seriously. But then it's like, okay, then they're on the roller coaster thing. Then there's the water coming out. Then they're hanging off the ledge. Then they're on the bridge. And it's like, of course, the story is better in Raiders, but I think that some of the action on this is just as good or better. It's a more exciting action movie. And there's also the best indie girl, Willie, my favorite indie girl by far, the funniest. She contrasts the most with the environment that she's in, which is why I think she's so funny. And she's also Spielberg's wife, so I mean, he must have seen something in her. But and of course, I'd also noticed things that not huge problems that we'll get into in a minute. But I do think there's things that this movie does that are better than the first one, and definitely better than the third one, which we'll talk about when we review Last Crusade. But Champion, what do you think? Where do you place it?
Number 3 of 3. These points you've just made, I was going to make these exact same points from the other side as negatives.
Oh.
There is a lot of action, but it doesn't stop. And 2/3 of the way through, I thought that the second act got bogged down a little bit. It's just like very dark everywhere,
Maybe.
very hard to see what's not hard to see what's going on, but it's like, can we poke our heads up for some fresh air here and there?
That's a good point.
I was getting exhausted by all this action. I needed to breathe a little bit. And the name Willie. I think I found her to be a little too damsel-y, just a little too and just whatever happens, she's just freaking out by it. And she's a very one-dimensional character. I would have wished that she would have brought a little bit more substance. So yeah,
Okay.
those are my
Okay.
takes on your takes.
Okay.
Michael.
Okay. Okay. Can I just say this? Okay. Why don't we do this? Let's go through. If we can call this maybe a 5-act movie. Maybe I'm forgetting something. The opening act of the movie, I think, is fucking good.
Agreed.
The opening, the dance number,
Yeah.
the table,
The Lazy Susan,
poison.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, is that not a great opening? What do you think?
My favorite bit of that whole scene, the chaos and whatever's, was the gunfire and the skewering with the shish kebab
Yes.
there, followed by not anyone leave the club? Did anyone escape the club for their
No,
own
that's a
safety?
good point.
It
That's a
was
good
just
point.
choreographed nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now we kick the diamond. Now we kick the poison. Now we do this. Now we spill the ice. Now this guy runs over here. And the bodyguards, did anyone else pick up that they were the Chinese Blues Brothers? That's what That's what I got from this watching
I
the
didn't
film.
notice that.
You watch it again and again and again, and you notice something different every time. The two bodyguards like this on the other side of the table were literally the Blues Brothers.
I didn't notice
But
that.
Chinese. I swear to God.
Okay.
Oh, I actually held that. Okay.
ahead.
So speaking of Lau and his son on his left and the henchman on the right is the one that got skewered. The gentleman on the left had the busted hand from the non-shown scuffle.
Yeah.
But Lau himself was actually the Shidoshi or the sensei of Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Which it took me to this viewing to realize, because I love Bloodsport, but I didn't
Wait, you
know.
just realized this today?
I just realized today that
That's
it
maybe
was
the most
same
surprising
actor.
thing about this is that you didn't know this years ago.
No, I didn't know. I never picked up on watching it because I haven't seen this movie in about 6 or 7 years, and I just didn't. I watched it. I'm like, that's him.
Okay, hold on a
Side
second.
note,
Speaking
that
of,
needs to be on the list.
So
That
I
has
can
to be on
agree
the
with
list.
you on this, right? So the first scene is really excellent. The sort of like chess match between
Right.
Indy and the Chinese folks that have this diamond and the antidote and the poison and all this stuff, and it's really kind of clever to see the one-upsmanship. And then there's some fun action. The dance number kind of sets some tone, but then it's like this madcap nonstop action after that, and it feels like this whole movie becomes kind of. You know those movies that are like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens.
Again.
Yeah. And now listen, I'm not saying there's not fun in some
Yeah.
some like madcap romp, but it feels like a roller coaster, and then there's a literal roller
this is
coaster.
a little. By the way, I something I didn't notice until 2021, even though I've seen this movie 1,000 times, is the Dan Aykroyd cameo.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
At the airport.
wild.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd is the one that brings them to Lao Che's plane.
Plane.
Really?
Yes.
And I didn't notice that. Yes.
We pointed out tonight.
But
I
they
said that's an
never
excellent
give
trivia
him a
question.
close-up.
Yeah.
Isn't that
And they
insane?
never make
crazy.
it clear that it's him. You could
Yeah.
just sort of subtly tell
Right.
that it's him from his voice.
Right.
Yeah, you could like even tonight. I recognize his voice 100% out of the game. I'm like, wait, that's Aykroyd. Hold
Yeah.
on,
I
and
know,
I'm
that
and I'm,
character-
and I'm looking, and
Yeah.
he never turns to the camera. It's like on purpose. He purposely played it. His back is to the camera the entire time.
Yep.
The same way you would have someone in a stormtrooper helmet,
Sure.
just
Yeah.
to say they're in one of those movies.
Is
Do
this
you know
a
who-
commonly known
yeah.
fact?
Was he
or-
just
No,
on the
it's not.
lot
No,
that day,
no,
and
that's
they
just
were
it.
I
like
think
they
he was
pulled
just
him
on the
in?
lot.
It's not known. It'd be an excellent trivia question because
Huh.
and it's that dark, that gloomy Casablanca kind of runway
Yeah.
deal, whatever's. So you don't see it. You're just like, he escorts him. He's like, he's
like
got a
no one
clipboard.
talks about
and he's
it.
got
It's so
but he's got the
weird.
British accent too, right?
Yes,
He's got that's
yes.
what it is. So it throws you off. Yeah.
Okay, so then we get to the plane, and okay, so when I rewatched this as a teen, I started to notice new things. Okay, we're used to growing up in the 90s as a teen, you're used to Steven Seagal and Will Smith and all these idiots I didn't like. And why I didn't like them is because they never faltered, they never failed, they were always cool. But Indiana Jones is in a plane with no pilot, and Willie says, "Do you know how to fly a plane?" And he says, "No, do you?" And it's like, oh, this is a masterpiece because he is always, as Josh said, he's always in over his head. And that's why we're like on the edge of our seat. If he was like, oh, I could take care of this, there's no suspense, there's no danger. But Indiana Jones is always in over his head, but then he uses his wits to find something we could not think of. Okay, I'm going to take this rubber dinghy, and it's outrageous, of course.
Yeah.
But then when they fall, and then they're like, "Hey, that wasn't so bad." Oh, that's awesome! I was like, anyway, edge of my seat. What do you think?
Well, look, can I just first ask the question?
Sure.
Why does Willie get on the plane?
Because that's a good point. Because Indiana Jones addresses the plot hole and says something like, "I let you." He says something like, "I let you on the plane," or it's one of those plot contrivances that doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
But Indiana Jones calls it. He hangs a lampshade on it and says, "I let you come on the plane," or whatever. Oh, by the way, we have to point out The script was written by Gloria Katz and Willard Huyck. Do you know what else they wrote? Star Wars: A New Hope and Howard the Duck.
Oh,
Okay.
Howard the Duck.
Yes.
That
Oh,
is
yeah.
the trifecta for
Yeah,
the ages right there.
exactly.
Wow,
Okay.
so we're kind of like extremely good, extremely
Kind of.
And extremely
meh.
gooder.
But here's the thing, though. I gotta
Well,
point
we were
out.
talking about Howard the Duck on Gooder, right?
But here's the thing: is yes, exactly. But to be fair,
There's a reason it was the first Uniplex movie ever.
That's true. It
And-
was.
and-
It
and
was.
I
It
missed
was.
it, and I
I
was
know.
so upset.
So sorry. I missed
So
that one
Lawrence
too.
Kasdan wrote Empire Strikes Back. Then he wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's why those are the two of the best of the trilogies. Gloria Katz and Willard Huyck wrote A New Hope and Temple of Doom. They're the second best of the trilogies. So the sequence is inverted. Okay,
Well,
that's
Kathleen-
okay.
Well,
That's
Kathleen
okay.
Kennedy, I found out tonight, was involved on this one.
I know she was
yeah,
probably
she's
like
all over the
19,
place.
right? Yeah, I know.
Because I mentioned it to you as we were watching. I'm like, oh, hey, I know that name. And it was like, oh, yeah, before all this other stuff she was doing.
Yeah, she did a lot of good stuff for a while there.
She what's it called? She cut her teeth on these movies. Yeah, absolutely.
So this reminded me though of the scene in the fourth and fifth movies that shall not be named.
Sure.
But where Indiana Jones has to jump into a fridge to avoid a nuclear detonation.
hated that shit.
And it just feels kind of like the same thing, but set up in the same sort of way where there's an early thing that happens that he has to escape from. And there are films where he does it in a more like, oh, okay, I'm clever kind of way, like The Boulder, where he outruns it and then
Sure.
he's stopped by the natives there that then, you
Yeah.
know, then he loses the idol to the other archaeologist. In this one, it's let's use a raft
No.
to float out of an
Can
airplane.
I just say both of those things? Like obviously, Temple of Doom is decades old now, but when the fridge scene came out in that film, I immediately thought at that time, and then back to this film, that scene with the raft, like these are total MythBuster moments. They should not that they could do this, but these guys would like break down.
I'm pretty
like
sure there is a MythBusters episode.
Let's look into
about
the
that.
science.
Well,
Is
and
there?
so this
I'm
is
pretty
where
sure
it's
there
like,
is,
right,
yeah.
but this would be a fun thing, right? It's like
Yeah, a
if
lead-line fridge.
the whole goal of the movie is this fun sort of action romp, then there's some tonal issues with it that maybe remove that sort of fun kids stuff from it
But
later in the movie.
I think here's the thing, and this is kind of like the debate between the Star Wars prequels and then the originals, because Lucas will always say, "Oh, well, they're made for kids, so who cares?" But okay, so let's just say I was 8 when I saw Temple of Doom, and I loved the rubber dinghy thing. When I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull as a 30-year-old, I thought it was ridiculous when he escaped in the fridge. But we would have to ask a 10-year-old kid, what did you think of that scene? That's the only way to measure it, I guess, right?
Well,
But as an adult, when I rewatch this, I still love it. Like at least that part, I love it.
sorry. Just to speak on the fridge thing, which is kind of outside of this one, but I just read a quote or something from Spielberg saying, he's like, yeah, we were kind of iffy when we were filming that. And even Harrison is like, no one's going to buy this. And we did it anyway. And after the fact, it's like, it is what it is.
Well, yeah.
To paraphrase what he
Sure,
had
to
said.
paraphrase. But here's
But-
the thing. I'm in for that. But let's just keep going, okay? Because then and this is the thing is me and my cousins, we used to talk about these movies when we were kids. And we always thought the first and third were the best because they were steeped in specific, accurate, biblical stories.
Or historical,
The Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, right? In the middle one, this is kind of, what is this? A vaguely Hindu mythology stone thingamabob mixed in with voodoo with a freaking doll. What the
Yeah,
hell?
that's
That
from
was
another culture.
so bullshit. But this is my new assessment of this story. It's historically bullshit, and which saps it of a little bit of its strength. However, I kind of like it in a way because here's a little factoid. I did not know these movies were period pieces until I was a little bit older, right? So when you're a little kid and you watch these, you go, oh yeah, these are taking place in 1980, II, and they're going and they're exploring, and then you realize, oh shit, no,
Even
there's
though
Nazis.
Every film opens with 1935.
Yeah, I didn't notice
Mike's
that.
like, I zoned out for a
But to be
second.
like
fair,
TJ coming in late on
This
it. Yeah.
movie actually takes place before.
Yes,
the,
yes,
yeah,
It's a
Yeah,
prequel,
yeah.
right?
This is a
Yeah.
prequel.
This is
Yeah.
a prequel.
The
for
first and
prequel is a
third, they
word.
specifically show World War II Nazis. Okay, but this movie, it could have taken place theoretically with a couple changes. It's like, oh, is this 1984? I don't know. So in a way, this is almost like the many adventures of Indiana Jones. It doesn't have to be a 1930s movie. So that's almost like something I kind of like about it. That's not tied. It could be any time in history exploring the past. So I kind of like that in a way.
And I'm going to
Counter
that. I'm going to say that same point as a negative because the fact that the other movies are not historically accurate, but
But
they're about
tied.
things that we know.
Yeah.
That gives me a connection to them. Like, oh, this is interesting. They're doing a thing about Ark of the Covenant. They're doing a thing about the Holy Grail. What is this? It's a mishmash of stuff that doesn't make any sense.
True.
So right off the bat, I don't care about it. And no, it doesn't do
It's
anything
kind of a
for me.
weakness.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. It's the same thing with the crystal skulls, right? It's sort of like this amorphous, ill-defined artifact that does some crazy glowing thing.
Yeah. Same as this. It's
Yeah.
like, so why do I care about this? It's some stone that is a thing, and you put three of them together and they glow for some
And
reason.
we're missing two that we never see.
And then in the
Yeah.
fifth movie,
Yeah.
back to Nazis again.
Here's the thing is that even though I think Crystal Skull's crap, because someone posted online, I like to argue with Facebook. I like to spend my time wisely. They basically said, people didn't like Crystal Skull, but they liked the first three when they're talking about Bible stuff. Well, yeah, because I'm not saying I'm religious because I'm not, but the stories in the Bible are rooted in history. The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is not, and this movie's not. But the one thing I'll say, though, is that even though I don't think UFOs fit with Indiana Jones, and time travel does not fit with Indiana Jones,
Nope.
at least with this movie, it's like, remember how we talked about, when we reviewed Raiders, we talked about how this kind of invented a new genre. Like Indiana Jones invented a new genre. And when they get to Dial of Destiny, all of a sudden they're showing a 70-year-old Indiana Jones, in psychedelic 60s with the Beatles playing. That's not Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is exploring kind of like, it's specific to the 1930s, and that we had Europeans had not explored Africa, they had not explored South America. Well, they did, but you know what I mean. It's like there's unexplored territories, and there's things to discover, and that is the genre. So Indiana Jones in the 60s, listening to acid rock, is not Indiana Jones. This is Indiana Jones, and so even though it's not a specific story tied to history like the Ark of the Covenant, I kind of like how it's almost like if they would have done 20 of these, we would just accept it as, oh, Indiana Jones is on another adventure, and he's got to find this crazy MacGuffin, and it's not as good as Ark of the Covenant or Holy Grail, but I still love it though.
So you think about like young Indiana Jones Chronicles, right? So we're going to go way left field
There
now.
you
But
go.
these are stories about like these sort of adventures
Right.
that are a little bit more rooted in some form of reality. And I think maybe what I don't want to speak too much for you, Ian, but maybe it's the internal consistency of the world, right?
Sure.
It feels a little bit like, is the world somewhat internally consistent where, I think personally, like religion aside, you can accept the idea that like maybe these biblical relics in this universe have some sort of power.
Sure.
And sure, maybe in this movie, Temple of Doom, there's some level of that, but it's ill-defined.
It is ill-defined.
It doesn't really like. There's no legend beyond the whole like. Oh well, it brings power, like sort of this sort of ill-defined power to these people, and I think that's the same issue with Crystal Skull. It's like not only is it aliens, but it's like magical.
If
rocks.
I can make a point,
oh please,
if we're gonna break it down, not arguing, but just for the sake of like whatever, devil's advocate, is Ark of the Covenant, Holy Grail, a box that you open up and it ends the world or melts your face. Holy Grail, a cup, fill it with water, eternal life. This is stones that light up when you put them together. And there's no. Well, listen, follow me here.
Okay.
And there's a crazy cult of hundreds or if not thousands of men underneath a century-old cat, or not century-old, but century. Like for the last century, it's been vacant, it's been useless, it's been whatever's. The cult found the stones, bring them together. They create light because there's magic diamonds inside them, and this crazy voodoo priest can rip your heart out. Is it that far-fetched? It's not founded in like Catholicism, but they reference is it Vishnu or who is it?
They say Shiva.
Shiva.
And I'm not an expert on Hinduism, but
Neither am I. But
when
my
they
point
bring
is,
in the voodoo doll,
Yeah.
that throws it like
Definitely not.
it's
so
definitely
so
not
we
Hinduism.
accept a magical golden box that opens up and ends the world, and a cup that you drink water of that ends, saves your life from whatever eternal life. But we draw the line at magic stones and voodoo.
And here's
I
here's why.
I
just wanna make sure.
100% agree with you on that. It's like, listen, we accept the Christian artifacts, but if we're gonna get into some Hindu offset, because
or Aztec aliens.
or,
we don't know if the pyramids were
no,
built by aliens.
I'm not getting into past 3. Okay, we're talking about 1, 2, 3. Okay, because if we're gonna talk 4, then we're gonna talk about Back to the Future, and then we're back to the fridge. Okay,
Full circle.
and that's a deep fucking cut if you know what I'm talking about. The fridge.
Is this a Seinfeld episode?
What's going on?
No,
What
but
are we
it's
talking
like
about here?
they're going into different regions, different religions, different societies, and I'm not. I won't 100% say I know shit all about fuck.
That's on the record.
That's fine. I know shit all about fuck.
Put that in
I'm
quotes
just
and
saying.
put TJ next to it with a dash.
On a t-shirt.
But no, if we're gonna get into the religious aspects of this film, I'm not qualified to say anything because it's not necessarily part of our everyday culture.
I think
But they took steps in the first and third movies to explain,
Yes.
like to use the stories of the
Yes.
Bible to explain the powers of these artifacts. In this
Yes.
one, they didn't really define the powers of the artifacts. They sort of loosely said that they were related to the Shiva myth, but didn't go any further than that. In the first one, they talk about the Ark of the Covenant. We have some context that helps sort of fill in some gaps. And then there's some points at which Indiana figures out that like he needs to avert his eyes. And like the whole plot
Yes.
revolves around that.
Whereas
Whereas here it's like,
this one's
we have
like,
these
hey,
3
hey,
stones and they glow in a skull.
this one stone will grow our crops and bring us animals.
You know what? Okay.
But-
Let's bring it back down to the movie. And I only say this because I've seen this movie 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And my eyes were glued to the screen. But there was one part in this movie where my attention wandered. And it was after that old guy with the white hair was explaining the myth. And he was like, the stone, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, Indy explains to Willie that the kids were all kidnapped. Then it cuts to black. And then we see the kid come over the rocks. And he's all out of breath. And then it cuts to this weird blue screen shot of Indiana Jones and in Short Round on like, the top of a hill.
Yeah, your short round climbs up out of breath.
But
That's the same
That
shot,
was the one part where I was like, they could have cut that out because it doesn't really add anything. And I've seen this 1,000 times and I don't remember this scene. So that tells me that every of the 1,000 times I've seen it, my brain probably just tuned out because it was just one of those weird things that didn't really add anything. But then the next scene, they jump on the elephants, they start moving. It's like, okay, let's get back to the story, right? So that was
I don't remember that scene either.
right. No one does.
I remember the
But
kid
that-
climbing
that's
up out
the
of breath,
scene.
but
No one remembers that middle
No,
scene.
but that middle scene, that is where Short Round goes to Indy and says fortune and glory.
Sure, which
there
they
you
bring
go.
up
And that's
20
what they bring up
times.
20 times,
They
but
could have
that's
fit
a
that
fr-
one line in somewhere
They could have
else.
fit it in somewhere else. They didn't need a whole scene for
Right.
it. But they did a whole setup with the
Right.
whole background and the shooting star.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
pretty, though.
so it's
Fortune and glory.
it's got diamonds inside it is the big thing.
Yes.
So the real villain here is
So is
capitalism.
Willie. Willie is the villain because she's all about the diamonds.
Okay, let's get to that. So then, wait. The next scene is a very slapsticky scene of them traveling through the jungle, and it's funny, but it's also slapsticky. And then they decide to camp, and we get a scene that I love, but it looks like something out of Abbott and Costello, where Indiana Jones and Short Round are playing cards, and then Willie is like running around in the background on the soundstage, which is obviously a soundstage. And it's like, there's a monkey over here.
She's finding all the animals.
There's a bat over here. There's a lizard over here. Outrageous. And it's so like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's completely phony. It's
comedic relief. That's the term.
Yeah, but it's also more than that. It's more like
it's
I've never
always
been
a
to
bit-
India, but I think there's a lizard there, and maybe there's a bat, and
Yeah.
maybe there's an owl, and it's outrageous. And then she's talking to him, and the elephant is like keeps touching her neck, and it's funny. But then when the snake comes down and she grabs it, it's so over the top. And I do like it, but I'm trying to give ammo to your argument that this film is not as good as the first one, and I agree it's not. And this is part of it where it's like, okay, is this where you're getting at?
It's unkind to the one female character, right? So
Yeah.
so Willie,
Yeah.
right? Like the
They're
reason that
treating
they
her like
the reason that they camp is because she's like frustrated and putting perfume all over this elephant.
Yes.
The elephant bucks her off and then like throws her in water, and then they're just like, haha, stupid lady, let's just camp.
Yes.
And then they spend the time like doing their gambling thing, and then she's running around like
Yeah.
again as sort of the comic relief and sort of like let's use
I
her
could
as the
hear-
punchline kind
Yeah,
of.
I can hear Benny Hill music in my head when she was
Yeah.
like running
And-
around.
okay,
doing
so this goes
stupid
back to
things.
my. I
And
told
maybe
you-
this is why I have problems with Willie as a character.
Okay, and why she's my favorite indie girl. But I do agree. I do agree there's problems. But here's the thing: is that this is my new theory about this film. So when Lucas did Return of the Jedi, he went through a divorce. When Spielberg was doing this movie, he went through a divorce, and that's Spielberg's justification or explanation for why it was so dark.
Mm-hmm.
My new theory from watching this film, I see a lot of maybe not, I don't want to say hatred towards women, but a lot of resentment towards women and a lot of powerlessness about children. The whole plot of this film is about finding out these kids have all been kidnapped, and then Indy has to go in and save them.
Child slavery.
And then he gets mind controlled, and then he hits the kid.
Yeah.
He hits the kid. He hits
Willie
he
too.
hits Willie.
Yeah.
He punches Willie.
Yeah.
The kid gets beaten with a whip. It's insane.
That's a different
And then
scene.
they have that big hug out. To me, that is a subconscious expression.
And any time that diamonds are brought up, Willie goes, diamonds?
And I should
Man.
point out
They're a girl's best
that
friend.
Spielberg lost half of his fortune to Amy Irving, his first wife. Amy Irving, she got like, I don't know, 75 million or 50 million, whatever. And I'm sure Spielberg was like, not happy about that. I'm gonna make sure I put that scene into the next movie. I don't know. It's just a thought. I don't know if it's
He's
true.
only got 75 million left.
Yeah, I
after
know, like
that.
asshole. I know, right? No, but
as much as Willie in this film is running around just being the damsel in distress, especially in the first half of the movie, once they get into the palace and beyond that, she's still that fish out of water for like.
which is funny. Which is why she's so funny.
Which is funny, but at the same time, it's like, listen, she's in there as someone that's a singer, a performer that only knows the city life.
Yeah.
And is going into, bug infested places and freaking out. And well, let's be honest, I don't know a lot of people that would not be freaking out in the same instances in modern day being
Sure.
surrounded by modern stuff.
And
Is it a great explanation? No. Is it what I'm kind of going with a fish out of water? Yes.
That
But
works for
Could
a
the
minute.
narrative have been
But-
more kind and let her grow over time?
Exactly.
Yes, the narrative could have been kinder to her and let her grow, but also this is all within like what, a 72-hour period?
sure, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a movie, right? Like characters have arcs, and we don't have to like the 72 hours doesn't matter.
But like the
She's-
only
hers
arc
is
that
a-
was
hers is a
here
flat
was when
line.
the guys like came out of their spell because of the black blood. Yeah, their spell.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause it's not a spell, it's blood, it's spell, and
Okay,
whatever.
okay,
This
okay.
spell.
It's
But
a
if
thing.
this all takes over the course of, let's say, like 3 to 4 days,
Sure.
you're not going to have a full character arc where
Well,
I'm going to change my ways.
Well, it's like Ian said, though. You kind of have to.
you
Even though-
kind of have to.
Because
but this
I was
movie did present
bored
it
to
as that.
shit by her character.
Yeah,
because
but
she
the-
had
Shrill, she was so
nothing to
shrill.
contribute.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
to contribute.
Yeah.
Like, okay, have her running around, have her spooked out by some animals for a minute, but to have her, especially like that scene with the elephant is,
Yeah.
that is a moment in the movie where they're trying to have a conversation, her and Indy, about something semi-serious. I forget what it was because this slapstick shit keeps happening.
It was like Jar Jar Binks distracting.
Yeah. We don't need this then. We need time for the movie to breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
We've just had 25 minutes of nonstop action.
Right.
So let's bring it down. Let's be serious for a couple of minutes before you ratchet it back up again. And you're right. Like her character had no growth at all. It would have been great for her to, like, for some of that fish out of water to advance the plot, like to advance the story a little bit. Maybe she has a skill as this fish out of water that helps Indy out of a jam. I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Like make her character important to the story in some way other than she's just screaming. She did save Indy by reaching into the thing and grabbing the handle.
Okay, let's just back it up because I know what you're saying.
Like, what does the movie lose by losing her?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, that's a good point. I'll give you that. And she could have done more at the end because Short Round even saves the day a couple times. And she barely did. But let's just back it up a little bit. The scene where they go to dinner is outrageous when they're getting all the dishes because I've never been to India, but I've had Indian food. I don't remember them serving monkey brains.
I'm pretty sure that's what they eat every day, right?
Yeah, and like giant
McDonald's
beetles.
India serves
and again,
all this.
this is
Chilled
like
monkey brains is a delicacy.
you know, but this is like
monkey brain.
this is like 1930s white European perception of the exotic India, the third world. So
Which you can maybe get away with in
in the
1930s.
yeah. So
in the 80s.
no, and I'll agree. I love it, but it's not great. It's funny. But it's funny. But it's like it's comical. It's slapstick. It's over the top, and it's also kind of like stupid. It is kind of stupid, but I still enjoy it. But you agree with it? It's stupid, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. But then they have the common.
I'm going to jump in here too.
Okay.
I was a little bit disappointed by some of this thinly veiled racist sort of stuff because at the very beginning, when they went to the village,
Good point.
and she's like, "I can't eat this," and Indy's like, "These people are desperately poor. This is more food than they eat in a month."
Yeah.
Right. Like he's being very serious.
Yeah.
And sort of sensitive. And I'm thinking, oh, this is interesting from a movie from the 80s.
Right.
And that goes all out the window for the rest of it.
That's true.
But they had this glimmer at the beginning that I'm like, is this movie more sensitive than I thought?
Yeah,
And can I add to that the problematic line that comes after that, which is that he says that she's embarrassing him.
But is that good? Isn't a good line for the movie? Why not?
I don't think so. Well, again, if the goal, again, I see Willie as kind of this punching bag throughout the movie.
Okay.
Both figuratively and literally at one point.
Okay.
And, honestly, to see the one female character that's there have no growth, have these situations in which she's consistently demeaned by Indy. She's then treated as sort of like this sex object later on when she can't eat the food at the dinner.
Right.
And then instead of coming by with food, he comes by to tease her with food. And then she throws herself at him. Like, woo, there's no indication that would ever have happened.
Yeah,
there's no growth in the relationship there.
Sure.
They're at odds the whole time. So this is where I start to have some issues with her and seeing her as this one-dimensional character where she's there to freak out and react to everything and to sort of serve as the woman that's going to be the romantic interest for when the plot calls for it.
And only because that's when the plot calls for it.
Right.
There's absolutely no element of the story where she's going to become attracted to him. But now it's nighttime. Time to bang, I guess.
Well, Ryan, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say that his line about like he genuinely seems like these people is more than they eat in a week or a month or whatever is, but then 3 seconds later he's like, "You're embarrassing me in front of my friends in this village." Like immediately takes away from it.
But I didn't.
And then it just gets worse.
But I thought that was part of what Ian's saying is that he's saying you can't refuse them because they're giving us this food. But that's exactly what you're saying is that that's where he shows his cultural sensitivity and also sensitivity to their situation is like they're starving, they're giving us food, don't embarrass me.
And it was more like me saying that I was commenting on the movie's sensitivity at that point, and then it just lost it all.
But the actual line, "You're embarrassing me," do you think that's a bad line? I don't think
it's a little problematic, right?
Okay.
Because
when we're
like
talking about the other character,
why is she responsible for not embarrassing him? Like, why
because
is
she's not eating the food. She's refusing to eat the food, right?
Yeah, but like, why does she have a responsibility to not embarrass him?
No, she doesn't. I guess it's because.
And to sort of let you off the hook
Yeah.
on this a little bit, I do think that there is some misogyny to Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
right? It's evident in the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, this is part of his character, but you know, they go so far in this movie, and that's, you know, when you say, oh well, Willie's like my favorite female character, that's great, but I think that there's a little bit of a different perspective.
Well, sure. No, I'm
coming
just
from the other side of that.
Willie can be entertaining, but in that that scene in the village, I think it's not so much, hey, you're embarrassing me, that, hey, you're embarrassing me personally. It is, if you don't eat this food, it is embarrassing on us because they are our guests. You do not speak the language. You do not understand the situation you are in. I am trying to subtly bring you into this, I guess it would be a way, which is not conveyed in the movie very well. It's kind of implied, but it's like Willie does not speak the language. She does not know the extent of what's going on or the world. She has just literally been dropped in out of a plane, on a raft, through the water. She's in an Indian village. It's like she's handed a bowl of kind of whatever you want to call it. She's like, oh, no, this isn't edible. I don't want to eat this. Like, listen, you don't want to? These are the people that are taking us in. They could have said it differently in the film, as this is a disrespectful thing to their culture. But Indy's there speaking in their language, well, broken language, we'll say. But it's like, hey, no, you're kind of embarrassing me here. But that's just the Indy way of saying it, instead of being respectful and saying, hey, instead of giving a 3-minute speech, it's like, no, you're being disrespectful here. Eat the food. Instead of going through the whole cultural background.
What I'm saying, though, is that, Ian, you're using that as an example of how the movie is sensitive to that. And that is literally there's only 2 lines he says about the food. Mm-hmm. You're embarrassing me. And then what's the other line he says? He says 2 lines.
You're disrespecting them.
This is more they get in a month or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that's the good thing. So I don't want to dwell on one line in the movie, but I'm just saying, I just think it's good.
Yeah.
Well, we can jump on to the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was bringing that scene up as the movie showing a little bit of cultural sensitivity, but that scene is also not very kind to Willie's character.
Okay. So let's jump to
it can be both.
Let's jump to the next scene where they have the love scene where they have like because you mentioned it, all of a sudden out of nowhere they're all over each other, they're kissing, whatever. I do like the scene, but it's very forced and staged. It's like, okay, now we're gonna have like the screwball comedy, and they're back and forth and they're quipping, but it is funny, but it's also very forced because it comes out of nowhere. I'll give you that. However, it's very funny when the guy comes out and then forced of cutting back and forth. He's being choked and she's still wondering what's taking him so long. It's funny, but over the top. But then he goes into the other room and she's like, here I am, Indy. And he's looking around for someone. Someone's got to be here to kill her. I think that's hilarious. Then when they go into that cave, I think, again, now we're at another peak. I love the scene with the bugs. I love it. I love it. They go into the thing. Oh, I'm stepping on something. Feels like fortune cookies. They turn the light on. I think that's one of the most famous scenes in history. Has it ever been topped? Look at DJ's face. Has it ever been
I don't want to say that's the most famous scene in history.
one of the most. Okay.
Dude, I wouldn't even put it top 5.
Okay,
Like,
then they go
real.
into that other room. They hit the lever. It's awesome. And then he's shouting at Willie. We have the awesome bit of her coming in and then him shouting instructions through the fucking wall. It's gold. And then he's trying to tell her, and he's like, there's got to be a lever. And then she's like reaching for the lever, and then the hand comes out of the wall. That's gold. No, the other one, the other door, the other
right
hole, or whatever he says. And then she's taking her time. She's scared to put her hand through. And then, of course, the classic line, Willie, we are going to die. It's beautiful. Everyone laughed. Then she comes to the thing. Then she hits it again. I think that whole, 10-minute sequence is perfect. What do you think, Ian?
I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
Top 5 of all time.
Rewinding back a little bit.
Okay.
The scene where Indy goes into her room and she's like, I'm here, and he's just looking around. That would have been a great scene had there been any setup at all for her
100%
wanting him, right?
Yeah, okay.
So without that, it's kind of like, oh, really? It takes away from that scene a great deal, in my opinion. Although it's funny, right?
Yeah.
When he walks in, he's looking under the bed, he's looking around.
Yeah.
And then he finds the statue and he's like, I'm right here. And he's
I
like,
love that. I'm right here. I love that.
pushing the statue by its boobs. Okay, yeah, that works. The scene in the cave, that's classic indie.
Yeah,
it's classic
that's
indie.
The definition of indie.
And like the tension of the spikes coming down,
perfect.
And it's a great set. Everything looks great, and great action too. I would have preferred Willie to have been a little bit more, I don't know, like her idea, not Indy yelling at her until she does what he wants her to do. Right? That was a little, again, it's just continuing her just being whatever the plot
like if
needs
she
her to be.
Notice something.
Yeah. Maybe she can solve a problem when
noticed
she's
that
out
too,
there.
Like, why would he assume there's a lever? Oh, there's got to be a lever somewhere. Like find the lever. No.
The fulcrum. He says this is something.
Something.
Something
Whatever he says. Yeah, it's like
the fulcrum.
Yeah. It's okay. Why would? Yeah. That's
Nerd.
That's.
But beyond that, like the bones of that scene are great, and I love the callback when Willie's finally inside the room too. And she triggers the same thing, and Short Round's like, "It's not my fault. It's not my fault."
I love it.
Then the callback to Indiana grabbing his hat as they escape. That's well done. It's one of the better scenes in the movie, I think.
One of the best.
The thing I like about that transition is there's a lot of things throughout this movie that harken back to like either from their catalog or from other famous Hollywood whatevers. I think in the opening scene in the club when they come in, again, this is only the second Indiana Jones film.
Right.
So we're bringing back the hero, enter the hero. Is when he sits down at the table. He's the only guy in a white tux, and like it's contrast to everything else.
That's a good point.
But he sits down very James Bond like.
Oh yeah.
And then the bedroom scene to me is another one of those. Like James Bond is notoriously one of the most misogynistic, sex crazed, whatever dickheads, and huge fan of him. But it is what it is. Call a spade a spade, and that's what that scene is. It's just like him womanizing and whatever's. But then but the nice thing about that nonsensical scene is it immediately transitions like. He's looking for a murderer, but then he's like, oh, wait, we're here to do a thing. And goes right back into like the Indiana Jones
back
thing.
to business.
And then the scene where the roof is coming down, that like it's got the skulls and the spikes and the whatevers. That's consistent textbook Indiana Jones. But the room closing in and catastrophic things and you're, about to die again. That looks back at the trash compactor scene from
Star Wars.
Written
by Willard, Huyck, and Gloria Katz. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Same writer.
I agree. I was thinking that too tonight.
That's
I'm
like
like, oh,
copy
Star
paste.
Wars.
Like, how could we do this in a cave in India inside of a castle
I agree.
instead of on a spaceship? And
There's even a line. This is a side. You know how Star Wars has that famous line? I got a bad feeling about this. There's a line in this movie where I was like, are they trying to create their own quip?
Short Round did it.
When Indiana Jones is in the plane, he says something like, it's not, I got a bad feeling about this, but it's something like that. It's like, things are, I don't know what it is, but it's like things are about to get worse. Maybe someone can tell us or we can rewatch it. But it's like one of those lines where like, they were trying to create like a thing and it didn't work.
I thought something similar to Short Round in the village, I think it was. He's like
Short Round, something very evil is
he's
about to
like,
happen.
this is not going to be
It's
good.
not gonna be good.
And the
like
guy's
that.
like,
Something bad.
anyways, here's our story. The stones are missing.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
children were stolen.
Yeah.
Everything's dead. He's like, told you. I told you. That's what that was. That's what I got from the
Right.
same.
Yep.
He's like, out of nowhere. Like, is this kid psychic? How did he just know this?
Okay, so here's
30
the thing.
seconds before.
So we have the bug scene, which I love, right? Okay, then this is where the movie gets weird. Then they go into this cave and they see this ritual going on that doesn't exist in any Hindu religion in history, in any religion in history. Okay, fine. And then he's like, "Oh, look. Okay, they just did this ritual. Oh, look, they left the room. I'm gonna go grab the stone." He walks down. He gets the stone. Now, this is what I like, is as far as we're concerned, the story's over. Oh, look, he got the stone. But then he hears, what's that noise? Oh, he goes over, and that's when he realizes all these children have been kidnapped by his ex-wife. I mean, by the villain in the movie. And then now we have another story where he has to rescue the kids, right?
But he was told in the village that they kidnapped the kids.
Yes, but it wasn't like concrete. It was like, they took the kids,
they
but
took
yeah,
the
whatever,
kids.
fuck
But
you.
now he hears them
now
and
there's
his
the
visual
evidence.
conservation.
How can that not be concrete though? All the kids have been stolen from the village. Sure thing, people.
Yeah, like I'm gonna believe that. Okay, let's go get the
Oh
stone.
yeah.
Let's go
There's
get the
no
magic
one
stone.
under the age of 24.
Magic
Fuck,
stone.
Any of them got any
get your
diamonds?
stones.
No? All right. Not
Yeah.
interested.
I just
Wait.
wonder what happened to the after party though, right? Because these
Yeah.
guys are like all hyped up,
That's
they're jazzed
true,
up,
that's
they're
true.
like dancing and chanting. You know, this guy rips this guy's heart out. They send him down. The heart's burning on fire. And they're like, "Cool, we're done."
Where's the? I know, like I know. It's like, where's the other room that you guys all went to? I'm gonna go there. Yeah,
They
I
all
know.
just
They're
sort
off the
of
craft services
shuffle
table.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right, ritual's done, guys. We'll see you Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. So then, okay, this is where, I will admit this part of the movie is actually bad, where Indiana Jones gets mind controlled. That's actually bad writing. That's the actual part of the movie where I was a little bit embarrassed because I was like, I had people out like, oh, you got to see this movie. I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot about this part. He gets mind controlled. That's bad. That's like too far back of a callback to like George Lucas going, I'm going to recreate the movies I saw as a kid. Like, okay, maybe not that movie, right? He gets mind controlled. He punches Willie in the face. He then
Well, hold on. You're skipping a scene there.
which is what?
You're skipping
Where
a
he's the
scene
hero.
where he's the hero, spits the black blood into their face and
Okay.
gets whipped, and then Short Round gets whipped by the Maharaja.
Yes.
Yep.
And then he's
That's
mind
true.
controlled. So we're skipping over the child-on-child
Yeah, I don't
violence.
want
Just some casual child torture. Yeah.
and I want to mention this movie invented PG-13, which you're familiar with.
Say invented child torture.
No, it did not invent child torture. No, it did not. It did exist before this. And child labor. It invented child labor. No, but this movie, the scene where the heart gets ripped out, famously, apparently invented PG-13.
Really?
But yeah, it's like, oh shit, the parents were all freaked out. They're all pissed off. But I'm watching this movie like you, and I'm going, and then what about the scene where Short Round gets whipped?
Yep.
And they only show one whip.
Yes.
But then the next time they show him, he's all like fucked up. I'm like, okay, this is insane watching this as an 8-year-old like I did. But like, I think it was again Spielberg and Lucas like feeling anxiety. What do you think?
I mean, never mind the like rows and rows of kids that are actively being whipped by adults
that's true. That's
in
true.
previous and subsequent scenes.
That's
At least
true.
Short Round's being whipped by a kid.
yeah,
that's
at
true,
least,
yeah,
At
it
least
kinda
it's
lets
another
them
This
kid
whole
doing
debate over what should have made it PG-13, I'm picturing a Family Guy skit in my head. They're like,
Yeah.
editing the film, whipping children, no, like famine, whatever, like death, everything,
Yeah.
no. Whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
Did he just rip a guy's beating heart out of his chest?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Flip a
exactly,
table and walk out of the room.
So here's the thing: is like in the first movie, there was the famous scene where Indiana Jones has the fist fight with the guy under the plane. Great scene. This movie, their follow up is on the conveyor belt, which is a good scene. But we cut over to the prince, whatever he is, with the voodoo doll. It's so stupid, right?
Well, we're jumping ahead again though,
Oh,
because
did I
the whole
jump
thing. Well, this is after they put Willie in the contraption,
Oh boy.
That's right.
and they leave her like inches from lava for a while.
You're
like
fine
which-
though. If you're 6 inches away, you're fine.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Right.
he doesn't
Yeah,
start
yeah,
until he
yeah.
like
The,
you know.
the first
I've
guy
enough
caught
hot
fire
lava in
like
my life
30
to know.
feet from the bottom.
No,
She just
to,
stays.
to be fair, I did notice it when they pulled Willie out of the cage there. She looked significantly sunburnt.
Yeah,
and
she
I'm
was
like,
sunburnt.
Sure, but
and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good touch.
She got
That's a
cooked.
good
She got
touch.
cooked.
She got her tan. She can go back to Middle America like she wants.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Did
On
anyone
vacation,
notice
right?
how the first time they lower her down, it's very slowly and methodical, and then like this whole fight scene is happening, and I have to say, I was waiting for a Wilhelm scream the whole time.
there was
Yeah.
one.
There was one.
It wasn't,
one.
but it wasn't in the
There's
scene.
one.
I was
Okay, okay.
No,
is it
it
going to be
was.
this one? No. It was during the arrows in the bridge scene.
Yeah,
That's where the
Oh my
Wilhelm
God.
scream came in.
Okay, I'd have
but
to
they
go back and
they
check.
had
but yeah.
we'll have to go back and check the tape.
Yeah,
Get in the
okay.
comments.
Yeah,
Get in the
okay.
comments.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, all this is going on. They've been lowering her, and then like one dude is just like, I'm gonna let her down there really fast, and like just really rips it down there,
hits
and
the
then
turbo
like
button.
inches from the
But it
bottom
creates,
stops
to be
her.
fair, it creates suspense. You're like, oh no, is she gonna make it? Oh, she's fine. Oh no, she's back down again. I thought that was fine. I mean, it was ridiculous that she was in that situation, but it was good for suspense. I thought.
I guess it depends on if you like her as a character.
Yeah, and I do like her as a character, so I felt her plight, right?
Sure.
And that was her point, is that she's a fish out of water dealing
Exactly,
with all the
exactly.
insects and all the creepy crawlies on you.
Right.
And let's be honest, I don't know about you. If I had all those insects on me, I'd be like, fuck this shit. Get me out of
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm not reaching my hand in there. You guys are dying. I'm going out there. I'm sorry. I'm out. I'm out.
I'm going to
The
marry the
movie would end a
Maharaja.
lot quicker if
That's
you were
it,
the
that's
love
it.
interest.
Oh, but he's just a child. God damn it.
So then, okay,
I'll wait.
so that scene, then they have the voodoo doll. They have the fight scene. It's pretty good. I got to admit, I hated the part where Indy was punching, and then Short Round was punching, but then Willie was just like air punching.
Yeah.
I really hated that. It was funny, but it was like, come on, give her something to do.
Give her someone to punch.
Yeah, someone exactly. Like, get a girl in there to.
There should have been another female character, right? Exactly.
I agree.
just to be punched.
I'll agree with you. I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that 1 point.
Yeah, she had no female counterpart, which would have added so much more to this.
There's
No, 'cause-
always got to be a female counterpart for for the girl to punch. Exactly.
Well, no, because Short Round had the
That's true.
Maharaja,
He
yeah.
had the kid counterpart.
Yeah, he had
Yes.
the kid counterpart, and Andy just punches everybody.
Yeah.
And so there was no female counterpart for her to get one up on. So
Yeah, this is true.
I think that's like the biggest mistake in the movie is that she had
There's
no
just
one to
no
get a
woman
one
to
up on.
punch.
She had no one to get a one up
This is where the
on.
movie falls
No
apart for me.
cat
Right?
fights.
Exactly. No cat
That's it.
fight.
0 stars.
No,
So-
not even a cat fight. Just a punch or something that works.
Okay, so then we get to where I think the movie now it excels. We get to the roller coaster.
Well, let's before
Okay,
that, one
before
of
we
one
get
of my
to-
least favorite parts. We got Indy who's mind controlled.
Yeah.
Wake up, Indy. Wake up, Indy. Wake up, Indy. Don't
Burn
do
him.
this.
Yeah.
I love you, Indy. Oh, I'm better.
Wink.
Wink.
Was it
Okay.
implied though that then the Maharaja was also being mind controlled because
it was-
it seemed
first
like
of all-
he snapped out of it?
Yeah, he
and
did.
then
He got
like-
burned too.
He got
burned.
burned also.
That's
but
the
like
cure.
getting punched doesn't do it.
No,
you have to actually
burn
get
them.
burned.
You specifically have to burn them.
You need to be blessed by the fire to be released.
Yeah.
Can I say before the roller coaster,
Sure.
there were two parts that made me actually laugh out loud.
Okay.
The first was when the big bad priest, voodoo priest, whatever the guy was that was doing the heart ripping,
Yeah.
like realized shit was hitting the fan and he like ducked into that little trap.
That was so good.
Somehow
That
I
was
never
so good.
noticed that.
Talking about
the
that.
first 500 times I watched it, I'm like, what is that? Yeah, that was weird.
It's
yeah.
like nopes out.
Yeah, I know.
classic trap
Yeah,
door.
that was crazy. That was crazy.
And the second time is so they knock.
Never get me.
Literally.
You'll never get me. My trap door. Ah.
And the second was they knock. I'm laughing just thinking about this. They push the water over. They're running down the hall.
Wait.
She lost her shit. I remember right when you laughed, I'm like, water doesn't go sideways.
I can't even say it. The water, like it's following them, and they duck down a corridor,
Yeah.
and the water just doesn't follow them. Then it goes.
Okay.
It's so
out of that
cartoony.
corner.
It doubles
Yeah.
back, but did you notice that?
It was
After
so
they duck
funny.
out, they run in the same direction in the other aisle, and they're like, nope, water just turned around, pulled a U-turn.
It was
and
so
came
funny.
Right back
This
for
is
it.
where I think like it's
Sketchy.
cartoon logic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they
100%.
yoink out of the thing, and then suddenly, like this water that's chasing them actively down a tunnel. They go, "Oh, let's duck down this side tunnel." No water, it's fine. No, there's water again. It's coming after us.
That could have been fixed in editing. It was a little tricky. I agree. And to be honest, like again, the
amazing.
first 500 times I saw it, I kind of didn't know like where did they go? They went over here, but the water. I don't know. I don't know. I know what you're saying.
That stuff doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah, it
though.
doesn't bother
like
me
that.
too
That's
much.
silly things that shouldn't happen, but they happen based on just like nothing.
Yeah.
That's fine. If it's like somebody that's making it happen and it's stupid,
Yeah.
then I have more of a problem with that. Like
you laughing
cartoon
out loud
log,
made me lose it. I was
cartoon logic. I can
like,
deal
good
with
old
cartoon
water
logic.
doesn't go sideways through a hole.
But didn't I gotta say,
I was
like,
hoping I wasn't
It
distracting you from the
depends on
movie.
the
'cause, like,
edge of the. It depends on the physics and the edge.
Depends
of
if
it.
it's being mind
I can tell you
controlled.
guys. I could tell you guys were
Any
into it. And I
blood
didn't want to like
land in
ruin
that
your-
water?
I didn't want to yuck your
I
yum,
was
but man,
so
like
into it.
I just was
But
like, whoa, that's so
and-
funny.
you know, I'm always looking for like, I think in this whole movie, there's maybe one special effect that wasn't like 10 out of 10. And it was when Willie and Short Round, when they walk out of the way of the water coming out, you can see that it's a blue screen. They're on a soundstage and it's superimposed. Okay, fine. But when they're in like the roller coaster thing, I thought it was flawless. Like, I thought it was flawless. What did you guys think? Like,
Effects were great. Yeah. I
It
love the roller coaster.
It really felt like they were in there.
Your water issue was my stormtrooper, whatever bad guy with the guns issue. They're chasing them at different rates of speed and whatever. Use the brake. No, throw this block of wood in front. Da da da. And the whole time, boom, 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 nothing. No one hits anything. But then when they veer off in two different paths, at one point the guy's like, "I got this." Pulls out his rifle, hits the little stupid whatever thing, like an old train yard. You hit it and it flicks it from left to right.
Okay.
Not one person was hit by bullets. Not one arrow landed. The guy's like, "Hold my beer," and just nails that sign. They veer off. They go on the high road, and that was it.
Well, yeah,
It
that's a
wasn't until the good
stationary
guys with
target, though.
guns
Of
showed up.
course.
Yeah,
I think
While they're all
we have to forgive
doing
a
this, yeah.
little. But I do agree
died.
that there was a little bit of like discrepancy between the speed when we were on a close up and like it's like and then wide shot they're like this, right? It was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think they pulled out all the stops for the roller coaster scene. I thought it was really good.
it was a fun sequence.
Yeah, it was really good.
Well,
TJ?
I was gonna say, I think the minecart scene has just been ripped off so much.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say even movies, but like Donkey Kong Country is
Okay.
just full. Like, there's always at least one. Oh yeah, every Donkey Kong Country game, there's at least one mine shaft cart jumping scene.
Every Zelda game in the past 15 years has a mine cart.
Well,
Yeah.
famously
Side
though,
game.
there was
But-
this actual Minecraft level in the Indiana
original
Jones
Indiana
game
Jones
for like
games.
computers. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up playing it on the NES with the minecart scenes where you jump from the lower to the upper and go through, and you had to go through the caves and whip the cages open to let the kids out, and it was a very confusing game, much like Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a confusing
okay,
game.
we're getting off track.
Wow.
But it was
Okay.
very much a
Sure,
similar, hey, you got to go around, free people, then do the stuff.
Sure.
And then you're just on the cart track going.
Sure. Well, like we said, this kind of like these tropes existed in old serials and old whatever, but this kind of like reinvented them, and no one would have done them if this movie hadn't done them, right? That's what I think. So then we get to the next scene where the water's coming out. They're hanging off. We have a literal cliffhanger. They're hanging off the edge. Great scene. They're holding on to the wait. Was the ladder first? Yeah.
No.
No, not yet. No, not yet.
The water's spraying out.
The water's spraying
They
out.
get separated.
They get separated.
And he goes,
Then they
head
go
for the bridge.
They go to the bridge.
Cut scene. They're like, oh, that was hard.
Yeah, that was an awkward cut. That was an awkward cut. But then
Walks
they
on
end
the
up on the bridge, and again, because there was people in the audience that were like, I think it was Caitlin was like, "Oh, they rescued the kids. Whew, what a great movie! It's done. Oh shit, now there's the water. Oh shit, now there's the bridge." So it's just like they just keep topping themselves. Now they're on the bridge. This is a great scene. Now they're trapped. You're like, oh, they're gonna get out of this one. And then Indiana Jones. This is why he's great. He cuts the bridge, and it's awesome. Right?
Well, before that, he gives the wink and the nod, the short round.
Yes,
that, like,
and speaks in-
secure yourself, and hooks his leg around the bridge.
Yeah.
And goes to do it, and the big bad's all like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Willie does her, "Oh my god. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I love it. And then they cut the thing.
Is it weird though that none of the soldiers that are like within 3 feet of him go like, oh, he's like wrapping his leg around
Well,
the
one
this
thing
and he's
I'll
holding
give
the
you
sword
is
up
that
in a way that he's gonna
sword
like,
up for like 10 minutes.
cut the bridge.
Yeah, maybe if he just like whipped, maybe if he didn't have the sword and he just said the short round in Mandarin or whatever, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But you're right. He's holding the sword up for like a long enough time to give him, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. but everything else is awesome.
It's like then there's the crocodile, like
I was gonna say,
the extra.
that's another
it's like,
cartoony bit.
It's like one of those extra
Uh-oh.
like extra layer setups, right?
Yeah.
And that's another one, like part that I laughed at.
Because a
where it was just
decrepit
like,
bridge over 100-foot chasm isn't enough. It's
Right.
got the cartoony
It's gotta
like,
have- yeah,
"Arr,
it's gotta have-
eats something, rolls around again,
Yeah.
death roll, eats
Yeah.
it.
and they
Why not, though?
clipped
Why
to
not?
that. They clipped to that as like sort of the little like extra bit, and then anytime a guy falls off the bridge, it's like cut to that like chomp chomp chomp.
Same clip over.
Yeah, I know.
You know we could save $5.
Those cutaways were not great, but
And it's like the crocodiles from that James Bond movie to bring
100%.
back
Yeah.
Indiana
100%.
Jones being a 1930s James Bond.
There's
And he
another
did
James
that
Bond
with which movie was it with the crocodiles?
I think it was it Live and Let Die? I think it
I
was.
was living
Live
Let
and
Die.
Let
Yeah. The Bayou and the
When he
voodoo
jumps
stuff.
on
Yes,
the
yes,
crocodiles,
yeah. With the Bayou,
Wait,
it
they
had
had
the
voodoo
crocodiles
stuff?
in
Did they have a
that.
voodoo doll?
Voodoo stuff.
Oh, maybe that's where they got the voodoo stuff
Oh,
from.
hey,
just stealing
there
everything.
it goes. There it goes.
Yeah.
Divorce and
Circles.
James Bond.
Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes. But also, oh shit, I had a good point, but it's gone. I forgot it. It doesn't matter. It'll come back to me.
I was going to say one more thing about the crocodiles
Sure.
and the bridges and everything. Fuck it. Pitfall had to have been heavily
I
influenced
remember.
by.
Yeah.
No. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
That's right. Do
Yeah.
you remember the Atari game Pitfall?
Yeah, but wasn't that before this movie? Wasn't this movie
No.
like 1986 or something?
No, it was-
84.
it was
So when
close.
did Pitfall come out?
Right around then.
Yeah.
Right
Okay,
around
okay.
then.
Well,
Look
no,
this
no,
up.
but even then you had Indiana Jones before 84.
But there was no crocodiles in the first one.
No, but it was still.
It's the idea.
It's the
of-
idea
yeah.
of
I
it.
picture Pitfall in the cave when he just did it. He's like, "Oh, everyone gone from their little cult meeting? Cool. That's
Yeah.
He jumps down.
Yep.
That's when I thought Pitfall.
Yeah.
Just do-do-do-do-do-do, swing over, grab it.
And Bruce Campbell did the voice of the Pitfall guy in the 97 PlayStation game.
Really?
Yes. And Jack Black was in the Atari commercial for Pitfall back in the 80s.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Really?
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
And that's all inspired by Temple of Doom.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, okay. So here's the thing: is like in the '90s, again, it was like understood that Temple of Doom was the weak one, but then after watching and rewatching, Ryan,
Then you grew up and realized it's the best of the three because it's awesome.
I think it's the second best. But when I was a little kid, it was the best. But now I've grown to accept it as the second best. Champion in the original trilogy. Where do you rate it?
I haven't watched Last Crusade in a while.
Okay.
I need to revisit that before I can be 100% sure. At this point, I'm only 99% sure that this is the third strongest of the three.
Okay. Laura,
You know, I'm with Ian on this one. I think that if you're in it for the spectacle, like if that's your goal, then sure, yeah, I could definitely see this being.
If
a-
you're
You're
dumb
strong.
like Michael,
No, listen,
I'm
no.
dumb.
Hold
I'm
on a
dumb.
second now. I just want to make clear. I
Are
think
you
there's a
dumb like
lot of
Michael?
different reasons you can watch a movie. Like I'll watch a fun action movie
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes, but I think it depends on like the reason why you're watching the movie.
Sure.
And if it's for the spectacle, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think that this is the least boring, has very little downtime. It has a
Yeah.
lot of consistent action and roller
Right.
coaster going. But if you're in it for more of the cerebral kind of archaeological aspects of Indiana Jones and some of the character-driven things
Yeah.
that happen in the first and third ones, well, then I think that this would place it 3rd out of 3 for
Yeah.
me for those reasons.
I do agree. For that, it's the weakest. But I think, again, I imagine a theoretical, like not the TV show, because remember there was a TV show, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. If there was like 20 of these movies, and this was one of them, we might see differently. But because there's 1 and 3 that are what they are, it kind of like creates a different expectation for this one.
Sure, but the big problem that I have with this personally, with this film, it has nothing to do with the other two. It's
Okay.
just the fact that it's basically nonstop action for 110 minutes.
Sure.
Right? And I get tired.
Yeah,
I get tired. I want, we're up here the whole time.
Yeah.
I would enjoy the scenes like on the bridge more if I didn't have to sit through a bunch of punching.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Bring
I'll
it
give you
down a
that.
bit and then bring it back up, and then I'll be far more engaged when
Yeah.
you bring it back up because I'm already checking out.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I'm missing some of this because I don't care so much anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I quickly add to my nostalgic
Sure.
factor as well? We did a unit study on this film in book form. Like I think they actually like genuinely wrote the book after the film came out, which is
Okay.
hilarious. But yeah, we tormented our grade 11 English teacher because we were teenage dickheads. And one day we were criticizing her teaching style and English being boring, yada, yada. And she just gave up one day and was like, you know what? I will give you 15 minutes. Go to the library. You guys find a set of class books. Whatever you want to read is cool with me because you're all so bored by all this interesting historical literature. And didn't we dig out a box full of Temple of Doom? Like based on the screenplay by someone, and we did a proper unit study.
And it only
on
took
Temple
you
of Doom.
15 minutes?
Apparently, we had
That's
guys.
amazing.
We had guys and girls on the inside. We knew. But yeah, that's why it adds to my nostalgia. I just yeah.
TJ, what do you rate this one in the trilogy?
Realistically, would be 2. Honestly, this is my number 1. I don't even give a shit. This is my number 1. Okay, this is all nostalgia fuel of playing the NES games and seeing this on the Saturday afternoon, Fox 50 affiliate, whatever TV channel. This is 100% pure nostalgia for me. This is my number 1. This is just. This is my macaroni and cheese of Indiana Jones. Okay. If I want a steak, I'll go to
Dog Soldiers.
Whoa.
No, that's my chicken parm, sir. That's my chicken parm. No. If I'm looking for my mac and cheese, this is my mac and cheese. Raiders of the Lost Ark, that'd be my steak. If I'm looking for something in between, where like I want something kind of fancy, then I go Last Crusade.
That's your mac and cheese with cut up hot dogs.
It's Roger.
No, that's with the Smokies, sir. That's with the Smokies. But no. Honestly, for me, Temple of Doom is my number 1. It's just all nostalgia bait. It is. There's no character arc or anything really to it. It's just non-stop, which is everything I hate in modern action movies. But I take it in this one because it is the nostalgia bait.
Okay, I have one last question before we wrap up. Is there any good reason that this movie was a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark? Why did they do that? Do you know?
Because at the very beginning, they show it on the screen there in Shanghai in 1935. That makes it a prequel.
No. That's not what No.
Hold on. Factually correct.
No. I mean...
That's true, TJ. That is true.
Why did they make it a prequel? Like, what advantage is there? Do you know?
I have no idea. No,
Okay.
I mean, I guess it could be argued that, some of there are some things that Indiana Jones went through in Raiders of the Lost Ark that changed his thoughts about, religion and archaeology, and maybe that tempered him a little bit in ways.
Okay.
That's an awful lot of forethought for a movie with not a lot of story to it, though.
Well, sometimes you have to have like headcanon for these things.
That could be. I don't know. Yeah. Ryan, do you see any reason?
Yeah, because it's like Star Wars. Again, back to Star Wars. They didn't start with episode 1. They started with 4. So they started with Raiders. 2. Raiders was 2.
Yeah.
Because the first one, he went to India and fought a crazy voodoo cult with magic rocks. And they're like, this is dumb. Let's go fight Nazis instead. Way more credible.
I think my only theory is that going back to what I said earlier about not tying it into history, if they would have done a movie set after Raiders, maybe they would have had to address World War II. And this was their way of getting around that. Maybe?
That's possible. Yeah. That's possible. You can get away with completely ignoring everything from the first one.
Right.
If the second one happened before the first one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I will concur, it's not as good as the first one. Definitely not as good as the first one. But much better than I thought when I was a kid. And more entertaining than the third one.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll talk more about that when we review Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh.
Right?
Yes. When's that happening?
I don't know. Soon. Maybe. Eventually. All right. All right, I want to thank Champion for hosting Movie Night at Meteor every Wednesday, except when he skips 2 weeks.
That's right. Did you miss me? Did you miss us?
Sad.
I missed all y'all.
Yeah,
I missed all.
We were very sad. I want to thank Ryan, right, for joining us.
For just being here.
Yeah, for just being here. You're a second oldest regular guest, right?
Something like that. Second oldest.
Well, second.
Probably fifth most.
Not oldest, but second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In
seniority. My
union
number's 2.
Yeah. Yes, it's number 2. Yes. Laura Soros, thank you so much for joining us. Great conversation.
Glad to be here.
I know it's a very illuminating, discussion. Thank you. That's what it's all about.
I'm glad to bring some perspective.
That's good. Yep.
And thank you for backing up some of my points. I would have hated to be the only person here that's I don't know about this one.
I tried to stack the deck against you, but it didn't work.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to have these conversations, regardless of how any of us feel about it.
Right. Exactly. That's what movies are all about.
Heck yeah.
That's why we talked to this guy over here.
Oh, me?
TJ, yes. Interesting movie discussions every time, right?
For the most part.
Okay.
I don't know what you want me to respond to that one with, but yeah, sure. I'm here because they twist my arm. Like, yeah, TJ, come on. And okay.
It's always fun, man. It's always fun.
Can you tell us more about the history of video games?
Anyway, okay.
And
So,
caves and
How are you breaking
Mind
without me saying a word?
what do you mean? I know.
Like I say nothing. I stop and you just laugh.
I'm just kind of waiting. I thought you were gonna. I always think you're gonna say one more thing, but then you don't. You know what I mean?
Leave them wanting more.
Exactly. That's the key. Okay. So join us every Wednesday at Meteor Uniplex for movie night.
Yeah.
Join us on comicbooksyndicate.com and youtube.com for our movie reviews, Laser Brains, Tape Crusaders. What do we got coming up, champion?
Oh,
we can't
boy.
tell them. We can't tell them. It's a surprise.
Is it a surprise?
Yeah. We can only tell them about High School Musical 2
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
and your pick.
Oscar winning.
Top Gun.
That's right.
Big surprise.
There you go. And-
June 10th. Be there.
I mean, I hate to say it, but all of the June movies are being published in a soon to be released
Yeah,
periodical.
but don't tell them that they don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
And our audience doesn't
Keep
know.
it out.
But you're
I've got some privileged
viewers will know.
information.
Yeah, she knows more than you guys do.
Well, no, at least plug your stuff coming out. Don't announce the movies, but
let's
plug
talk about
your
your
shit.
magazine.
Plug
What's
your shit.
happening with your magazine?
Sure, really quick, because this is not about the magazine, but there's a publication coming out to help support the arts and artists making cool things here in Windsor, and to try to create a centralized location for a lot of the events going on, so that folks can figure out what's going on and go to those things, like cool things like Meteor Uniplex.
And it's called?
It's called Analog.
Awesome. I love it.
Get
All right.
people off the phones and onto the.
I was
the
going to say,
real world.
website or...
Analogpress.org.
There we go.
ANALOGUE press.org.
All right. There you go, everybody. Until the next time, see you later.